What's up everyone, Kaze no What If is here with What If a Soul Was Sent into One Piece verse. Before we start, if you like the video, like it, share with your friends, comment, and let's start the video. No, I don't own One Piece, and this is also not the greatest fanfic of all time. This Bites will always hold that title. Honestly crazy to think about, I'm already at 70k words. I caught up to my first story and yet nowhere near it in terms of story. They were about to hit Skypiea, but now I'm only on the Usopp arc. Let's hope I manage to make it past Skypiea. That's where most stories cut off after all. Extra information. Asterisk is used for thinking. Capital letters or exclamation is used for shouting. Italics, yeah, I haven't found a use yet. Responding to comments. Random thought, there's 30 people reading this story now, that means things are going well. When I first started writing I assumed it'd be for myself, but it's nice that other people read it. Out on sea with a small ship full of idiots. JII. What did you make me eat? What is it? Just tell me. Nami shouted while shaking me. I slowly got out my AirPods, placing them in my ear. We'll talk after Kurogari is back, for now I'm gonna listen to music. I told her as I pressed play. The world was drowned out and in its place was Another Like Me by Halak. Finally someone other than Dizzy. An hour or so later, after many songs passed by, I got a tap on the shoulder. Looking up I saw Kurogari. I offered her one of the AirPods and we sat there listening to music together for a few more hours. After our session was over we began to talk. So what did you get from this death? I asked her. Kurogari's hand glowed bright before an intense heat blasted me in the face, the water around us beginning to boil. At the tip of her finger was a small drop of a bright yellow energy. I obtained a rubber buggy ball. Is that solar energy? I asked. Can't you just check yourself, don't you have that ability? Kurogari asked. I guess, I just didn't feel like it. I told her. Wraith world. My eyes changed to black and dark energy radiated from my body as the world turned to that of souls and spirits. Kurogari's profile popped up before my eyes and I noticed the differences instantly. Kurogari, Pirate, LV. 50. Immunities, light, solar energy, and heat below 5000 degrees Fahrenheit. Number of deaths, 4. Solar energy, a small piece of the sun's energy, with the heat of 25,000 degrees. Only able to use a drop, but even that is enough to turn most enemies to ashes. Damn, that really is solar energy. It'll be a strong asset once you're able to control more of it. Anyways, we got a problem that I just now verified. I told her. What is it? Nami is a wraith, that means there are more of us. I'm pretty sure in terms of power our fruits are the strongest, but it's all about the user. What do you mean? If a fruit is stronger, then it's stronger, right? Normally yeah, but Nada said something strange. She said my power wasn't something that I was supposed to have, like the one before me never had it. That means these wraiths are solely based on ideology. We just have to be careful from now on. With more wraiths that means stronger enemies. The whole world will grow to keep up with us, and I don't know how many there are. I explained. What should we do? Arya asked. For now, until the next island, we're going to teach Nami the basics of the ability. Though we have to tell her first. This isn't exactly a large ship. What is it you need to tell me? Nami asked. There were 2 ships, Zoro and Luffy shared one while us 3 remained on the other. I smiled. Right, well, it's about your devil fruit. Have you finally decided to tell me what it is? Obviously you know, you seemed so ready to give up treasure for it, so it must be special. Putting aside your obsession over treasure, yes, I do know what it is. Like me and Kurogari, you are a wraith. I'm the Hell model, Kara's the Heaven model, and you are the Storm model. I told her. Wait, Does that mean I'm immortal or something? You too can't die, is it the same for me? Nami asked. We aren't immortal, there's a certain number of times we can die. We don't know what that number is, but when we hit it we'll know. That's what I was told. Who the hell told you this? Someone else has a similar fruit, they already hit that limit but they won't tell me the number. I lied. That makes sense. Well, I'll try not to die. What does dying grant you anyways? Nami said rhetorically. Well, actually, it grants you more power in one way or another. The first death grants a 50% increase in power. The second and third Kara don't remember, and the fourth is a second element. I explained. What is the element that I have? Nami asked. Based on the color and form your wraith takes, you got lightning. Kara and I will help you with the wraith abilities, but the elemental power you gotta learn on your own. Nami sighed. Alright, so how do we start? If I wasted treasure on this ability I might as well use it. I turned to Karagari. Kara, go tell Luffy. It's better he knows so he doesn't end up murdering the person that may or may not kill Nami in the future. I whispered. So what does this mean for me exactly? Am I part of some crazy plot that'll take me away from everything I know? Nami asked. The only thing that will change is how powerful you are. You have to be ready to be one of the crew's top fighters in the future. Luffy may go easy on you, but as the co-captain I will be putting you through hell. You will fight your own battles until defeat, only then will we help you. It was a hint at Arlong that she completely understood. She nodded her head. I see. I don't believe I can live up to your expectations, but I'll definitely try. Good, from here till the next Isle dash. J. Luffy shouted. 1 second. I vanished from sight, appearing in front of Luffy. What is it, Captain? Can I trust that you won't put her in any unnecessary danger? His eyes showed that he wouldn't tolerate any recklessness just because of her abilities. I stared at him, my darkened eyes boring into his eyes that were actually dark brown. I swear to you, Captain, that I won't allow any more than what's necessary to happen. However, we can't keep protecting her. She will learn to do that herself, by any means necessary. Luffy glared at me. She's not a fighter, Jay. She shouldn't be forced to learn more than necessary to survive. I glared back. I'm sorry Luffy, but she's a wraith. The second she ate that fruit she became a fighter. I'll train her in our ways and she'll learn to be independent in battle. Luffy smiled. That's good. I held back my surprise. Asterisk, was he testing me? Asterisk. Alright, next we have to secure a ship. I'll leave Nami to you, we'll get a ship on the next island. Luffy said, his smile brighter than ever. Of course, Captain. I returned to my spot next to Nami. First you'll learn how to activate the wraith energy that we all use, also about your lightning. You can't produce an infinite amount, we have to constantly absorb the element we need to produce. Kara and I have it easy since ours is everywhere. Where there's light there's dark. Wait, so how can we tell if I get stronger? Nami asked. It's an ability I have, it gives everyone a numerical value based on how powerful they are. You're a 10, Kara just hit 50 and Zoro hit 51 after getting his new sword. I'm currently a 50 and Luffy is a 52. I told her. Nami frowned. So currently I'm the weakest on the crew? Alright, let's begin. A week of intense training later and Nami went from level 10 to level 30. For some reason it seems like everyone makes training look like child's play. I guess it might have something to do with my lack of potential from Earth. A shout from Luffy came from up on the main mast of the larger ship. Hey guys. I can see an island ahead. We should see if they have our ship. I sighed. Already claiming the ship as yours, Luffy. Captain's orders, let's speed it up. Somewhere on the island. This is bad. A young man shouted, running into town. We're in danger. The pirates are attacking. The pirates are coming. The pirates are coming. Everybody, run. What? Pirates? One of the villagers yelled. I was just joking. Wahahaha. He laughed. Suddenly he was hit in the head with a frying pan. Why, you little liar. I won't let you get away this time. One of the villagers shouted. Uh-oh. Everybody's coming out today. Usopp began running away. Stop right there. You bastard. Wahahaha. They're chasing me. Usopp yelled as he vanished behind some bushes and climbed a tree. Damn, he got away again. Where did he go anyway? He. I fooled the whole village again. I've done a good deed today, adding excitement to this boring village. The young man said to himself. Captain Usopp. Two young boys shouted. Oh, it's you guys, where's Onion? He asked. Probably sleeping. Right? Carrot asked. I think so. Apple agreed. How can he sleep so much? Usopp asked. Why? This is bad. The pirates are coming. Onion stopped in front of the small group. The pirates are coming. You're lying. It's true, the ship didn't have a pirate flag on it, but I saw the Wraith Emperor. He stared right at me. Onion told them. Usopp began to freak out. What did you say? It's true, it was the Wraith Emperor. He jumped off the ship and began walking towards me. Onion told him. So he really can walk on water? Usopp replied, mystified. How many pirates were with him? There were only 5, I saw pirate hunter Zoro as well. Onion began to describe the crew. Usopp began to sweat, but he wasn't going to back down. Based on what he knew of the Wraith Emperor, he didn't think he'd have much of a problem. The Wraith Emperor never attacked civilians. Alright guys. Let's go, we'll fight for the peace of this village. Yeah. The 3 cheered. A few minutes later. Flags raised in the air all around us. A young man stepped out. I'm the great Captain Usopp, you will leave the island or else my 80 million will destroy your crew. I stared directly at Usopp, my weirdly colored eyes causing him to sweat. Is that so? It seems like there's only 4 of you. What? He knew. Usopp shouted as the 3 boys ran off. Hey, don't run. I have an ability to see things others can't, now how about bringing us to a restaurant? My captain needs something to eat. I said, pointing at Luffy. A small tavern in the village. What? You guys are looking for a ship to sail the Grand Line? Usopp shouted. Yep. Luffy replied. There's only one place you can find a ship like that, although it ain't too big, it isn't too small either. Where? Nami asked. There's a mansion not far from the village that belongs to a wealthy family, though not much of a family since the parents died. Their daughter now owns the place, but she's frail and weak. Even when you're rich, it doesn't save you from sorrow. Usopp told them. Jay, what should we do? Luffy asked. We'll stay here for a bit. See how things play out, and if we get a chance, maybe help in exchange for the ship. I suggested. Somewhere else on the island. Kuro was in a panic. Fuck. We were about to execute the plan. The hell is the Wraith Emperor doing here? He cursed to himself. I didn't expect to have to do this, but we'll need some reinforcements. I'm not sure I can take on both him and Zoro at the same time. Back at the shop. The door to the shop burst open. Usopp Pirate Group is here. The 3 shouted. The kids from earlier, they were with Usopp. Kara said. Hey pirates! What did you do to our captain? They shouted. Ah! Luffy patted his stomach. That was some good meat. Huh? Meat? Apples shouted. He ate the captain. Onion yelled terrified. It's only been 2 minutes since they entered the shop and I was already getting tired. I never was good with kids. Oh, shut up. Nobody ate him, he left saying something along the lines of it's that time again. It's that time again? Apple thought aloud. Oh, so it was time to go to the mansion. I sighed. Oh my god. This is going way too much like canon, fuck that. Usopp clearly has a crush or something on the 6/rich girl, so he goes there to cheer her up or something, right? Instead of sitting around wondering, let's just head over there. Hey Jay, what do you mean it's going too much like canon? Is he going to blow up the mansion or something? Luffy asked. Canon not canon, Luffy. Never mind, you wouldn't know the difference, let's just go. I walked out the shop, leaving them to follow behind me. Kuragari ran to catch up with me. Does Usopp really have a crush on the little princess? Sure seems like it. Now we just gotta do something about Kuro and we got ourselves a sniper. I explained. Kuragari was the only one I told about my knowledge of the world. There was no point telling the crew when there were others like me that knew different versions of the story. I wouldn't want to give out any false information. You mean Kuro of 1,000 plans? What does he have to do with this? She had heard of him through bounty posters but didn't see the correlation. To put it simply, this is one of his greatest plans. One that should fail. I told her. What plan is that? The mansion finally came into view. You'll find out soon. The attack begins. Hey Usopp! I whispered as I sat beside him. Ah! He shrieked as he fell out the tree. Kaya shouted as he fell. Usopp! Hello Kaya, it's nice to finally make your acquaintance. I've heard a lot about you. I told her. What? Who are you? She asked. My name is Jay, a pirate that's in need of a ship. I whispered. I plan on inviting your boyfriend down there to join the crew after we deal with the other troublesome pirates on this island. What? There's pirates on the island. She blushed. Other pirates, I mean. Don't worry about it, the pirates here aren't much of a threat. Their leader is smart though, he probably already has a plan in mind to deal with me. I looked down at Usopp. I'd love to help but I have to train my crew, I'll have to sit out of the fight this time. She really didn't realize I called Usopp her boyfriend *, I thought. How long has that other pirate been here? She asked. Just know that if Usopp says something serious with desperation in his voice. At that moment, it wasn't a lie. I jumped off the tree landing next to the crew. Jay, what the hell? Why did you appear out of nowhere? A little warning next time would be nice. The great Captain Usopp can't fall out of trees. You can't just barge into the mansion like this. A man shouted from behind our group. I sighed. I fucking hate canon conversations like these, like I both read and heard all this shit before. Where's the originality that comes with this world? Listen Claudor, these people are dash. Kuro interrupted. You don't have to explain, Lady Kaya. I'll ask you about it later. Kuro looked at me with recognition in his eyes but he said nothing to give himself away. Please get out? Or is there something you need to say? I smirked. We need a ship, I'm sure you know pirates can't sail the seas without a ship. Yes, most pirates would need one, however Wraith Emperor, I heard you can get around just fine without it. Kuro adjusted his glasses. I have no reason to help pirates get what they want. I smiled. Yeah, but we can't go out on the open seas without a plan. Out there you need to have plans, 1,000 of them. Kuro flinched at that. Asterisk, does he know who I am? No, it's not possible, I faked my death perfectly. Asterisk, he then turned towards Usopp, avoiding my gaze. You're Usopp. I've heard some rumors about you, the villagers talk about you all the time. Oh, thank you, you may call me Captain Usopp. Everybody calls me that. The guard said you were lurking outside the gates, what do you want here? I heard there was a huge mole inside the mansion. So I wanted to see it for myself. Please God, just kill me now, stop with the canon conversations. Asterisk. I can have that arranged. Kojika said through the AirPod. I keep one in at all times now. Shut the hell up, Kojika. I said God. Not useless bitch with a god complex. Asterisk, I shouted internally. Kuragari bowed. Sorry about that, Kojika. Jay hates when things follow the canon too closely. I don't think a useless deity would be much help right now. Huh. I'm not useless. You want the conversation changed? Well, too bad, you're gonna have to change it yourself. She shouted before cutting off the connection. The conversation with Kuro had taken a turn. I have heard about your father. You're the son of a filthy pirate. I'm not surprised that you turned out this W. Kuro was immediately cut off as a wave of bright energy radiated behind him with a dagger to his throat. Kuragari had attacked the moment the words filthy pirate left his mouth. The only thing stopping her from decapitating Kuro was my hand holding her wrist. I sighed. Kura, I already told you we're staying out of the fight this time. You can't just go decapitating the enemy. A single drop of sweat slid down Kuro's face. Asterisk, they're fast, the reinforcements won't be enough if these two join the fight. If what they said is true and they plan to sit out, then there should be nothing to worry about. Asterisk, that's when he noticed the sound of sparks falling to the ground. Turning to his other side, he saw the orange-haired girl with orange sparks of lightning dancing at her fingertips. Her attack, cut short by Luffy. It seems there's another. She's lacking the strength of the other two, but she definitely has the speed. Nami, it's alright, let Usopp handle this. Luffy said gently. The energy of the three wraiths faded, though the tension was still high. Kuro dusted himself off before glaring at Usopp once more. You and the young lady belong to totally different worlds. Is it money that you're looking for? Name your price. 100 million berry. I shouted from the background, Nami giving me a high five. That's enough, Claudador. Apologize to Usopp at once. Kaya yelled. Hey, imagine letting a frail person protect you. Couldn't be me. I whispered to Kuragari. There is no need for me to apologize to this uncivilized person. I'm just telling the truth. Kuro told her. I faked a gasp. Damn, my man didn't even apologize. Me personally, I'd have to throw hands. Can you stop being so immature and just watch? Kuragari whispered / shouted to me. You must hate your father, because he's nothing but a dumb treasure-hunting pirate. Claudador. Kaya screamed. Hypocrite. I shouted. I won't let you say another bad thing about my father. Usopp promised. Why are you so angry? You're not very smart, are you? You should have just told your usual lies, and say that your real father is a traveling merchant, or that you and him are not blood related. Kuro said calmly. Usopp ran up, getting ready to punch him. Shut up. Right as he was about to connect, I grabbed his hand. Not now, Usopp. What? He talked about my dad as if he was nothing. I'm proud that my dad is a pirate, and I won't tolerate some jackass dragging his name through the mud. Well then, let me let you in on a little information. This little speck of trash in front of us isn't half the pirate your father is. Your father is the greatest sniper in the Grand Line. He's on the same crew as an emperor of the sea. Those tales you've heard aren't fake. The emperors are so powerful the marines don't attack them directly. Your father is on that crew. I glared at the butler. Kuro of 1,000 plans, claim the name or not, when you attack they'll be ready. I won't be fighting though, a worthless pirate with only a 16 million berry bounty isn't worth my time. I began walking away from the mansion, Kuragari following closely behind me. Come on guys. She called. It's clear we're not welcome here. Usopp immediately ran off with Luffy trailing behind him. Off to talk about Kuro or maybe Usopp, I didn't know and I didn't care. Well, more like I did know, but still didn't care. The rest of the crew and I were back at the tavern. Half an hour later, Usopp ran into town screaming. Bad news. Bad news. Pirates are coming. Pirates are going to attack this village tomorrow morning. Everyone evacuate. Damn, he's at it again? One of the villagers said. I finished my water before turning to the crew. It seems Kuro has made his move. Tomorrow I need Nami and Usopp to handle the first wave. When Kuro and whatever form of reinforcement he brings shows up, Luffy and Zoro will handle it. Where is Luffy anyways? Nami asked. You'll find out eventually. I told her, not wanting to explain the situation. I led the crew to the beach where we would find Luffy in a human-shaped crater. Hey Luffy, what happened? Nami asked. One quick explanation later. Oh my god. Carrot shouted. They're going to kill Kaya? Apple asked. The village is going to be attacked? Is that really all true? Onion followed. Yep. That's what the guy said, there's no doubt about it. Luffy replied calmly. Oh yeah, why were you sleeping over there anyways? Zoro asked Luffy. I remember I was on top of the cliff. I can't remember what happened after that. Meanwhile the three kids were having a conversation of their own. That bastard butler was a bad guy. No wonder he gave me the creeps. And that hypnotist was a fake as well. The conversation continued on in that fashion until we decided to head back to the village. On the way back we met Usopp. Captain. The three boys called as they ran up to him. We heard about the plan, we must protect the village. With tears in his eyes, Usopp smiles. Huh, what are you talking about? Pirates, wahahaha. I made it all up, it was just a trick. A trick? You mean to tell me this whole story was a lie? I can't believe you would do something like this. This isn't funny, this lie has gone too far. The three walked off together, leaving us with Usopp. Usopp, what happened with Kaya? I asked. She believed me, unlike everyone else in the village. Then why isn't she here with you? Kaya believes me, but Mary doesn't. He's forcing Kaya to stay in the house. Usopp explained. Well then I have a question to ask you. What is it? Do you need our help? I asked. I don't think I can solve this on my own. Then we'll help, under one condition. We're looking for a sniper on our crew, I was hoping you would fulfill that position. I told him. Excitement returned to his eyes. Wait, for real? Yeah, your dad is a wonderful sniper. If his blood runs through your veins, then you must have the skill to go with it. Alright, I'll join. How do we take care of the pirates? I turned to Luffy. Well, I already thought of a plan as long as Luffy is okay with it. What's the plan? How many beaches does this island have? I asked. Just the two. Usopp replied. Well then, here's the plan. The next day. So remind me again why we're guarding this side of the beach, knowing that the pirates won't come here, and why are we in swimsuits? Kuragari asked. Well, they don't know that the pirates won't be here. I told them they might attack both sides, so they will think we're fighting. However, for us, we get to take a little break. I told her. But why? The crew has to get stronger, we can't carry them through the fights. They have enough to handle it, Now how about some sand castles? I walked off further down the beach to play in the sand as if I was a kid. Kuragari sighed. Fine, might as well enjoy it. Meanwhile on the other side of the beach, Usopp and Nami stood staring at Django. You're the one who overheard our plans. What do you want? Django asked. I'm warning you. Retreat now. I have a crew with strength far superior to your own. Usopp shouted. Only an idiot would fall for that. One of the pirates said. Django glared at him. He's not lying, they have 2 more people with them that won't be fighting. The Wraith Emperor and a girl that we can assume is with him. If they join the fight we'd be dead in seconds, they have speed that rivals the captain. The crew began to look worried. But if they're not participating we have nothing to worry about, right? One whispered. Yeah, we shouldn't have to deal with them immediately, after we take out these fools we'll kill the other 2. Django told them. Captain Django. Good news. What? You found food? Not food. We found treasure on that weird boat over there. It's quite a lot, probably worth around 10 million belly. He told him. What? Django shouted. 10 million? Why would they have so much out in the open? Usopp asked himself. That is my treasure. Touch it and I'll kill you all. Don't you dare take anything. Nami shouted. What are you gonna do about it? One of the pirates shouted. Nami gathered lighting at her fingertips aiming it at the pirate. Lighting bullet. She whispered as a small bolt of lightning pierced through the pirate's head. Anyone else wanna try me? Nami asked. He's dead. Usopp whispered. I mean, out of all the Straw Hats I thought you'd be the least likely to kill. Nami smiled. It's the fruit, it makes you numb to the death of those you don't care for. I could walk past an army of dead corpses without a care. Besides most pirates kill, Zoro's a swordsman so everyone he fights usually ends up dead. Usopp shrugged his shoulders. Oh well, death is pretty normal, I was just surprised you would kill. Django was understandably very angry. Everybody charge. Destroy these 2 then take out the village. He shouted. Butchie and Sham. With Zoro and Luffy. So why are we here again? Luffy asked. Jay says that Nami and Usopp need the experience, so he's letting them take out the first wave. We only need to fight when Kuro shows up. Zoro explained. Why though? It's so boring. Luffy pouted. Jay and Kuragari. Hey Kura. What do you think? How the hell did you build a literal castle out of sand? She asked. Honestly I don't know, to be honest I wouldn't be able to do this back on Earth. I guess with my new strength and observation it's much easier. I explained. So what's on the inside? Let's go. We walked inside and I showed her a tour. The castle was 50 meters tall and 75 meters wide. Complete with rooms and furniture made out of sand. I went into the master bedroom with Kara before offering her the bed. How about a nap while we wait? She glared at me. Try anything and you're dead. Understood. We laid down on the bed of sand that was somehow soft enough to feel comfortable. Within moments we were asleep. Back to the battle. The pirates charged forward. Yoo-woo-woo. However the second they hit the slope they slipped and fell. Ha, it works. Usopp said excitedly. From there Nami and Usopp picked them off one by one with lighting bullets and shots from a slingshot. 10 minutes later, Django was the only one left. The oil was gone, with so many pirates running on it there was no chance of any of it being left. Usopp eventually had to throw out spikes to keep the last few back, however they were dealt with swiftly. Django even hypnotized them but they still couldn't get past the oil. There was no chance. In the original, they couldn't use the oil because they got the beach wrong. Now they can, so I'm pretty sure with the help of oil they could take care of the irrelevance. Django stood there in disbelief. Damn it! How is this possible? An entire crew loses to a weakling with a slingshot and a girl with a special little devil fruit. Who's next? Nami shouted confidently. She was running low on lightning, however she could get more from absorbing the electricity in the human body. Electricity is required for the nervous system to send signals throughout the body and to the brain, making it possible for us to move, think, and feel. This means absorbing that electricity would kill someone, but it needed to happen. She walked up to a few of the unconscious bodies building up her reserves, leaving only a few left. Django was standing talking to himself, something about how Kuro was gonna kill them. Heh, you'll all be killed. One of the pirates said. Come down, Nyaban brothers. Django shouted. For reference, their levels are 15, the reason Zoro had trouble is injury and only using one sword. Obviously brainwashing will make that higher, but for now enjoy this improvised fight. Okay. Let's go. Two figures shouted as they jumped off the ship. Captain, you called for us? Sham asked. What's up? Butchie followed. Butchie, Sham, we couldn't pass through the slope, because these guys are blocking our way. Now go and destroy them. Django told the two. Sham trembled. What? How can we? Butchie, we can't beat them. Butchie nodded vigorously. Yeah. Those guys look really strong. What's going on? Aren't they good? Usopp asked. It's a bluff. Nami whispered. I can tell, there's not even a hint of fear. Her eyes shined with electricity. I can feel signals in the brains of others. Just from a glance I can tell what they're feeling, it's thanks to the electricity coursing through their nervous system. Really? That's useful. Usopp stated. The two pirates continued. We're just the ship's watchmen. Sham complained. Butchie shrugged. Yeah, we don't want to participate in these kinds of battles. Sham. Go now. Django shouted. Why me? Go. He shouted once more. Okay. I'm going. Sham started running forward frantically. Prepare to die? My claws are really sharp. It's really sad. Nami whispered to Usopp. Even if I couldn't tell he was lying, this would never work. I don't have any compassion for enemy pirates, the fruit made sure of that. As Sham drew closer, Nami began prepping her lightning. She let it course through her weapon, a double-blade naginata. Will be referred to as a glaive. Taking her preferred style of fighting in the staff, and the deadly precision in a blade. The edge of her staff glowed orange. Jolt push. She shouted as she threw it forward. Sham didn't even have enough time to dodge. His scream was cut off abruptly as the glaive pierced through his chest. Spark poured. She whispered as she appeared at the glaive, pulling it from his body. I'm sorry you had to go this way, however, I can't afford to hold back. Who's next? She asked. Sham may have had an abnormally thin waist, but Nami already saw that with Wraith World. The blood evaporated from the blade as she split it apart and put it back on her hip. Sham. Butchie shouted. She killed Sham. Butchie turned to Django with fury in his eyes. Do it? Django nodded. 1, 2, Django. Butchie began to bulk up, his eyes going white and his level hitting 30. Now. He growled. I'm going to kill you. Butchie dashed forward, jumping into the air above Nami. Cat technique. Butchie's drop kick. Nami jumped back as the ground cracked. Usopp fell into one of the cracks, struggling to pull himself up. Nami dashed at Butchie as he tried to take his foot out of the ground. Electricity coursing through her palms. Electrocute. Butchie started thrashing as the lighting coursed through his body before eventually he was blown back to Django. Damn that woman. He growled as he dashed forward once more. Scratch. 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 Nami weaved around the attacks, her eyes glowing bright orange. He's so much slower than Karashi ducked under another attack before sweeping his legs from under him, sending him falling to the floor. Asterisk the martial arts Jay taught me are useful. Now it's time to see how good my skills are with what Kara taught me. Asterisk Nami pulled her glaive back out, reassembling it and hitting Butchie back down the slope. Better step up your game, that hypnotism isn't doing you any favors. She mocked. It seemed the fruit had given her a slight ego. Butchie's eyes went red. He was fine with being beaten, but mocked by the same person that killed his brother. He had completely lost all reason. He bulked up even further, eventually growing to be 7 meters tall. He spoke in a rough gravely-like voice. You'll pay for that, you bitch. Django flinched back. Butchie was never this angry and he never lost his smile as he did now. The aura coming off of Butchie was immense. He blitzed forward too fast for even Nami to see and punched her. She was sent flying into a nearby wall. This speed. Django thought. He's even faster than the captain, how? Kuro had finally shown up, a tall girl right beside him. He saw all the carnage and the girl currently being pummeled by what appeared to be a 20-foot Butchie. This is interesting, his speed is above mine and his strength above yours. He said to the girl next to him. As of right now, he's probably the strongest being on this island. Is this because of Django? Kuro jumped down, walking over to join Django and get the report on what happened. Butchie's rage had turned his skin red. He was so angry his temperature rose drastically and his skin began to burn away. You little bitch, I'll kill you. Kill. 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 I'll fucking kill you. Butchie's claws were broken, all he had to resort to was his fist. At this point Nami was done. She had to go all out. She used wraith speed to duck out of the way before charging all the electricity in her body. Asterisk seems I'll have to try again in 24 hours. Death by lightning is becoming too common. Asterisk she thought. Discharge. She shouted as she grabbed onto Butchie and released all the energy her body had. Eventually Butchie's body crumbled to dust. Nami. Luffy shouted as he ran through the lightning to get her. Nami. Are you okay? He asked gently. I'm fine Luffy. She whispered. I'll be back tomorrow, but at least we accomplished what Jay asked of us. We beat the first wave, now it's up to you. Her body went still and Zoro made his way down. A brief flash of orange appeared by Luffy before disappearing. Captain, we need to get rid of the body. No one wants spare bodies laying around. Zoro replied calmly. Luffy nodded, though his anger was quite obvious in the stare he gave Kuro. He wouldn't kill him, too much blood for blood has happened and it's only the start of his journey. He would however, beat him into an inch of his life. Zoro drew his lunaria and set it alight before slashing through Nami's body letting it burn away. I'll go next, Luffy. He stepped forward facing Kuro and his companion. Who's going to fight? The tall girl stepped forward. I am. The name's Ryaka. She told him as she drew the giant sword from her back, holding it in one hand. White lightning danced around the blade. Zoro grinned. So be it. Zoro vs. Ryaka. Pirate Hunter Zoro. Ryaka said. I've heard you were the best swordsman in East Blue. It's time to put that to the test. Dragonkin Ryaka. Zoro nodded. I've heard you were the last remaining of a long-forgotten race. A race that matches up with the Lunarians and Minks. Unfortunately, unlike those two, you aren't born strong. Well then, let's go. Ryaka shouted as she dashed forward. Zoro drew his 3 blades, knowing that for this fight he'd need them. Ryaka leaped into the air. White lightning coursed through her blade as she came crashing down, blazing strike. She shouted as her blade made contact. The attack caused the ground to rupture, but she couldn't break through Zoro's guard. Luffy! Zoro shouted. Take the others and get back. This fight might end up a bit destructive. But I want to watch the fight. Luffy pouted. You can watch the fight from the cliff, you'll get a better view there anyways. Now get back. He shouted once more as he blocked another thunderous attack. Fine. Luffy gave in as he grabbed Usopp before running up the slope and finding a good vantage point. Ha! Ryaka laughed. All that talk just to run and hide, what's scared of a little area damage? Oh well, I don't really mind the privacy, I just hope you don't mind if I get a little rough. Zoro turned towards her and smirked. Scared of area damage? Of course not, I just wouldn't want to accidentally harm my crewmates while cutting you to pieces. He immediately rushed at her holding his lunaria. Ituryu, Hebai Kosho. Zoro flashed forward in a stabbing motion. Zoro's blade clashed with hers before she could even prepare herself, she was strong but slow. Coughing up white blood from the pressure of the attack, Ryaka was knocked back. Zoro, not being one to wait, immediately sprinted at her. He's powerful for a normal human, and quite fast. I won't win this fight as easily as I thought. She rebalanced herself, picking up her sword in a relaxed stance. Naituryu! Ryaka heard Zoro call out. Ryaka charged, lighting through her blade. Dragon Art! She yelled. Jigoku no Aji! Zoro yelled as a bright flame erupted from his sword with Wado behind to back it up. Abyssal Fang! The 2 attacks collided, creating a small shockwave that displaced the sand in the area, causing a large amount of it to hit Kuro and mess up his clothes. He just calmly dusted himself off, though it was clear he was angry. With this level of strength, he could likely keep up with Kuro. Though he isn't strong enough to beat me, Ryaka thought. Shiro Onslaught! She connected with a series of strikes, with the last one sending Zoro flying into the slope wall. Dragon Art! She shouted as she came in for a finishing blow. Zoro drew his 3rd sword. He readied his blades in a cross stance. Santuryu! Zoro yelled, launching forward with his swords blazing. The air began to heat up. Ryaka was gathering massive amounts of lighting in the blade. So much that the blade began to glow white. Soaring! Ryaka slashed out with her blade, releasing all the lightning. Hano no Koki! Zoro shouted as his blades flashed out in a combination of attacks. Assault! Ryaka finished as they both passed each other. Zoro's attack here is Flame Assault, new one like a lot of the ones you'll see from now on. A lot of new attacks based on flames. As Kuro and Luffy watched with bated breath, Zoro's top fell to the floor. Ryaka's breastplate broke into pieces. However, the fight was far from over. Zoro smiled. You truly are a strong swordswoman. However, I'm done acting with any bit of respect. From now on your gender doesn't mean a thing. I'll cut you like I cut everyone else. It seems Jay got to me with his weakness. Ryaka looked confused. What are you talking about? Zoro just droned on. Kuina would be disappointed. For a second I started treating you differently because you're a woman. Zoro removed the black bandana from his arm, tying it around his head. It's time I go all out. Ryaka grinned. Really? We can fight for real now? Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. The only way this could be any better is if you were a girl. Then I'd be able to touch whatever I want. Unfortunately, I'll just have to settle for slaughtering you and your little crew. Ryaka's body started to glow white. It's about time you dropped your noble persona. Trying to look all calm and righteous. Zoro commented. Yes, Say what you want. It's about time I turn your body into a corpse. Ryaka dashed forward with impressive speed, easily on par with Zoro. The two clashed in the middle with attacks so powerful they started to blast all the sand away. Kuro jumped back, retreating to the wall so he would stop getting buried in sand. Django on the other hand was too slow and was already trapped underneath a giant mountain of sand. Ha! Dumbass! Usopp shouted from the wall. Django's head poked out. Shut the hell up. After the captain beats you guys, I'm going to take care of you myself. A crater slowly began to form as they kept fighting. Sand was swirling around them as it got more intense. Flames were met with lightning and swords were met with sword. You know, you're pretty strong, Roronoa. After I win, how about you join us? Ryaka offered. A swordsman like yourself can't be on a weak crew. Ryaka slashed out again. Zoro was sent flying into the wall once more. Zoro stood up with a little blood on his back. His right arm was trembling from the force of the attack. Even though he was stunned from the strength of his enemy, he grinned. You are powerful, it almost makes me want to fight even longer. Fighting for days in a battle of swords finally worth my time, however we both know this needs to end eventually. Truly unfortunate that a pirate like you has joined Kuro. Ryaka laughed. I'm here for the money, I love treasure more than anything. He offered me a share if this plan works out. I'm not on his crew. I plan on joining a captain who understands the value of money. Until then I'll fly solo. She told him. Zoro and Ryaka clashed again. Armor was being destroyed and clothes being tattered, but neither have drawn blood from the slash of their blade yet. Eventually though, Zoro gained the upper hand. His advantage in number of blades had allowed him to slash and stab and slowly destroy the rest of the armor. Ryaka was left topless but showed no shame in it. On the other side of the beach. I yawned as I woke up. Kara was still sleeping next to me. Of course we didn't need the sleep, but it's still a nice pastime. Hey Kara, wake up. We gotta go check out the fight. I whispered as I shook her. Karagari woke up with a yawn of her own. Why though? They can handle it? I have no doubt about that, however I wanna see the swordsman that came with Kuro. I can see her in the Wraith world, but I want to see her in person. Also it seems Nami died. I'd have to explain that to Luffy because he is likely very angry right now. I explained. Fine, let's go. You owe me some food after this though. She stated. Yes, of course. Back during the fight. It had reached new proportions. It seemed that Ryaka didn't mind guys seeing her at all. She was basically all but nude, but she didn't seem to care at all. At that moment Karagari jumped down to join the two. Wow, you guys are strong. I don't think I'd win fighting either of you. But honestly, can you guys end this already? The second Ryaka saw Karagari, she stopped and stared. Why you? Who are you? Zoro stood in confusion. What are you doing here? He asked. Jay says he wanted to see the swordsman. So we came. He's up there trying to stop Luffy from killing him. Kara looked at Ryaka. Anyways, who are you? Immediately Ryaka jumped back behind the giant pile of sand holding Django. A moment later she emerged wearing Django clothes. Hello, I'm sorry you had to see me like that. My name is Ryaka, what's yours? Oh hello, my name is Karagari. Kara for short. I'm surprised you joined Kuro though. Kara said. Ryaka grew nervous. Actually I was sent in to fight Zoro, no one else. If Zoro stops then we can just let Kuro and the other boy handle it. Do you mind if I ask for a handshake? Zoro figured it out. Is she only interested in girls? That explains the surprise. Kara shook her hand, sending Ryaka into a frenzy about how soft her hands were. Eventually the prolonged exposure knocked her out. Kuro was shocked. She knocked her out with a touch. If they joined the fight earlier we'd have no chance. He grew frustrated. What is this? You said that you wouldn't participate. I appeared beside him. We won't fight, Luffy. If you win, we'll leave. But if you lose, then you must leave or die. Fine. Kuro jumped down. Kara was talking to Zoro about what happened. A female Sanji actually exists in this world, they probably wouldn't get along, or maybe they would. Luffy jumped down. Let's finish this now. Kuro nodded. This fight will decide it all, try not to die. I took a spot beside Nami's spirit. Zoro and Kara came up to join us alongside the sleeping swordswoman. Final showdown, Kuro vs. Luffy. Kuro sighed. It's truly a shame that I have to deal with this myself. I'll make you pay for what happened to Nami. Luffy told him. Don't worry, you'll join her soon enough. Die. He shouted as he began running towards Luffy. Luffy stretched and grabbed hold of Kuro's arms, telling himself in. It started. Usopp commented. Gomu Gomu no sta. Kuro quickly twisted his arms, redirecting Luffy and sending him flying. Gomu Gomu no leg sweeper. Kuro jumped over the low attack. And, pistol. Luffy shouted as he sent out another attack while Kuro remained in mid-air. Kuro's feet hit the floor and in an instant he vanished, appearing on top of Luffy's outstretched arm. This is so boring, I'm beginning to feel sleepy. You bastard! Luffy yelled as he reeled his arm in. Kuro ran along the arm at high speed and kicked Luffy in the face. You actually made me bleed. Luffy said, surprised. Django nodded. Captain Kuro is known for his speed, however he has a decent amount of strength as well. This is a bad matchup for Straw Hat. If it was one of you two who could keep up with his speed, it would be a better match. I laughed. Unfortunately, what Luffy loses in speed he makes up for in strength and durability. No matter how much he's hit, he'll get back up. Us two don't have that ability. Luffy truly is our strongest fighter. Kuro smiled. These idiots could never understand what it's like to be me. I hate the name Kuro, I gave up that name a long time ago. Kuro went on to monologue about how he faked his death and started his plan. Do you understand now, kid? I've spent 3 years doing this plan, it cannot fail. I banged my head on the tree and began to walk away. Yeah, I'm done, I already know what's gonna happen. I hate when everything follows the canon. What does he mean by canon? Zoro asked. It's nothing. Kuragari told him as she followed after me. Kuro kept going. I can't let you disrupt my plans. He shouted as he dug his claws into the ground, picking up a boulder. He thrust the boulder into Luffy's chest. Luffy grabbed it and jerked it to the side, breaking Kuro's claws. Kuro stared down at his claws. So, it seems you can do more than just stretch. That's right. Luffy told him. I've been training to become the pirate I am today. You're a pirate who's given up his title, you're not worthy of the name. My plans will succeed, the life of a pirate is worthless. Kuro sneered. My dreams are much greater than your plans. Luffy shouted as he hit Kuro with an overhead, slamming him into the ground. Now you only have 5 of those weird claws left. I will win. Kuro growled. Shut up. You will die, I guarantee it. Luffy laughed. How are you going to do that with only half your claws left? Ha 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 ha, you're so stupid. Don't get cocky just because you broke my claws, there's no way I'd lose to a kid like you. Kuro vanished but was instantly hit by Luffy. You don't have what it takes to be a pirate, that's true, but I refuse to let someone who ran from the pirate life continue to terrorize innocent people. Luffy shouted. What the hell? Zoro whispered. That line almost sounded intelligent coming from him. Is Jay rubbing off on him? Luffy continued. I'll beat you, and prove to the town that you're not worth the meat they've given you. Zoro sighed. Yeah, of course not. Kuro entered a stance swaying back and forth. You claim to know what a true pirate is, you're wrong. Let me show you the terror of a pirate who's been on the brink of death many times and still came out alive. Luffy was confused. What's he doing? It's that technique. Django whispered. Shikushi. Suddenly Kuro vanished. As time went on, random cuts appeared in the terrain and screams were heard from the Black Cat pirates that were left unconscious due to Nami. This is the true power of Captain Kuro. An indiscriminate high-speed attack that kills everything in the area. Django explained. Luffy, hearing this, grew even more angry. Come out, you evil butler, what do you think your crewmates are? There was no response. Slowly the slashes grew closer and closer to Luffy. The second Luffy felt something touch him, he reacted instantly, grabbing the attacker's arm and slamming him into the floor. Gotcha. Luffy smiled. You bastard, you should have let me cut you to pieces. Do you have anything to say? Kuro asked. Yup. Luffy answered. I swear. I will never be a pirate like you, a coward who murders those who aren't fighting back. You could never be a pirate like me, after all you're going to die today. Kuro smirked. However, since we're on the topic, how about we talk about that orange-haired friend of yours whose body you burned? Huh? What are you talking about? Luffy asked. That friend of yours incapacitated and killed many of my men, even when they stopped fighting back. Kuro told him. That's just the life of a pirate. If you're gonna take this path, you have to be ready to die. Killing an enemy crew is allowed, but killing a crewmate is taboo. Well then, die. Kuro shouted as he attempted to run forward. Luffy jumped up, latching onto his shoulders. Let's see you use your silent step now. Luffy laughed. Now your 3-year plan will fail. Luffy stretched his head back. Gomu Gomu no. How can it be, my plan? My plan cannot fail. Kuro shouted. Bell. Luffy yelled as his head hit Kuro's, knocking him out. He did it? Usopp whispered. He actually beat Kuro, K is safe. Zoro smiled. Speaking of that little girlfriend of yours. The going merry. Alright? Luffy shouted. Now let's go get some meat. The next day. Well, we had our meal, we should get going. Zoro said. You're right. Nami should be back soon, right? Luffy asked. Yeah, it's about time we leave the island. I began walking out of the tavern as Kaya walked in. Oh, so this is where you guys are. She smiled. Hey little princess. I greeted. She waved silently. Anyway, I heard you guys needed a ship. A ship? You're gonna give us one? Luffy asked excitedly. Kaya giggled. Yup, come on. Later at the shore. Whoa, a ship? Luffy laughed. Right as he was about to use a gum-gum rocket to get on, he was grabbed by the shirt. Hey. What'd you do that FO dash? As he turned around, Nami stood there smiling. Hold on Luffy, we gotta listen to their explanation first. Though I gotta admit it's a nice caravel. Luffy still stood there stunned. Suddenly a huge smile appeared on his face. Nami! He shouted, hugging her. I was worried you wouldn't come back. I'm a wraith now. She glanced at me. I don't know what it entails, but I'm here to stay. I smiled. Yeah, that death gave you a significant power boost, by East Blue standards. Your level has gone from 30 to 45. Yup, I feel so powerful now. If I ever have to use that much lighting again, I should still have a bit left over, enough to keep me alive at least. Maybe I can keep up with the rest of you now. Don't get cocky, you don't have enough experience just yet. No matter how much power you have, you can always lose if you don't use it properly. I told her. Luffy was still cheering. Can we really take this? Kaya insisted that we could, and as Mary was explaining the system to Nami we heard a shout from up above. Yaaa. Usopp yelled. Stop me please. I sighed. Kara. Right. She nodded. Light trap? The second Usopp touched the circle of light on the floor he was stopped. Thanks, can you stop it now? This is a very uncomfortable feeling. Kara tapped Usopp and the light dissipated. There you go. Hey Usopp, you ready to go? Kaya got us our ship, so you gon' join us or not? I asked. Alright, I'm the cap dash. I shut him down immediately. Don't even try it, Luffy is captain. The light in Usopp's eyes died out slightly. Right. So you're off to sea? Kaya asked. Yep, when I make it back I'll tell you all kinds of stories. Usopp offered. No, that won't be necessary. Kaya stated. Usopp began to panic. What? Why? Because, I've decided to join you. I've already left Mary the estate, you guys are gonna need some basic doctor skills. I know a bit about diseases and other things, let me help. Can I? She asked Luffy. Luffy lost the easygoing glint in his eyes and stared at Kaya. How will you fight? This isn't some fun adventure, that's the goal of course, but people do die. If you can't fight you can't join, even Nami is learning to fight. What do you have to defend yourself, also your sickness? I can't have you holding us back. Kaya lost the smile staring directly at Luffy. I know this isn't a game, I realized that the second Clawador tried to kill Mary. Mary. She called. At that moment Mary threw some pistols. They may be old but those pistols should help her for a while, with Usopp's help she'll master them quickly. She can get new guns later, right? Luffy smiled though Usopp looked doubtful. You can join. Luffy said. However, you will be working at least half as hard as Nami. You as well Usopp, before I could have let it be that some of my crew weren't the best fighters. Now though, everyone will need to be up to par. I can see levels attached to everyone's name, if anyone falls below half the level of Luffy. They will be forced to train more, is that clear? I asked. The crew nodded and boarded the ship. Bye Mary, when I come back I'll be a brave pirate. I'll live out Usopp's stories and see it all for myself. Mary waved with tears in his eyes as the ship left the shore. Extra thoughts? If you need me to explain any of Nami's abilities, just let me know. Also Kaya joins. I've read a few fanfics where they had her join, honestly it's not the smartest idea but I plan to make it work. The original crew is about 10 to 15 members by the end of the show, plan on having 20 to 25. Why? Simply because why not? Also, Luffy's main rival is still Buggy. And with Luffy getting an increase in crewmates then Buggy has to follow suit. JBS. Writer. J, so why couldn't we fight during this chapter? Writer, unfortunately the only reason Luffy had a hard time is because he's slow, you guys don't have that problem. J, why was Nami killed off so quickly? Writer, well as I said, this story follows my whims. I just decided, why not in the heat of the moment? Nami getting a devil fruit was randomly decided as well, at least I'm finally finding some consistency in Kara's personality. Karagari, about time, I don't know how long you could have kept using that excuse. Writer, what excuse? Karagari, saying that my personality was the result of going crazy after my third death back on that island 2 years ago. Like yeah I'm bloodthirsty, but that don't make me crazy. Writer, right. Anyways on to the next chapter. J, let's go. My boy Sanji finally returns. Karagari, I thought you hated each other. Writer, next time, battle at the Baratai. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, subscribe to my channel for more fan fictions like this, and goodbye.